Hello there, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, a must-try hip rotation drill, talking about in the downswing in the case of this drill, that I think will really help you not only start to get your hips started first, critical, but to customize it so that it's working well for you. Let's begin though with a look at the pros so that you have a good mental picture. So as we move towards our must-try hip rotation drill for better golf swings, it's important to realize that's Fred Couples on the left, Tom Watson on the right. Not all great players do this just the same. So one of the goals later in the video is to find out what works for you. We'll work on that. But let's have a look. Fred Couples here. Supreme ball striker and talent. If I got my hips that open, if I could, my divot would go in that direction. So that's great, but I don't think Tom Watson, 8-time major champion, by the way, he's not able to get his hips as open as that. However, they both have their hips open at impact or aimed more at the target. Now let's stick with Freddie here. He of the gifted athletic ability, and that's Justin Thomas there. Let's have a look at hip slide. So both of them, give or take, have their hips pretty much underneath them in the backswing. No shift in either direction. Let's have a look at Justin here. We'll put a wee line on Freddie there. Justin gets a little bit of bump of his hips forward, but it's a lot of rotation coming in. Fred, definitely more slide towards the target, at least by a few inches than Justin. So what's this all about? As I say, we'll flesh that out after we get into our drill. One thing's for sure, though, all of them independently start their lower body ahead of the shoulders and arms, and that's a lot what this drill is about. Okay, the key is, the biggest single key I would say, is getting these hips started without too much thrust of the arms and shoulders. When you can separate those, that is crucial. And why it's crucial, it creates more power. If you picture baseball, which I don't play baseball, but if I'm going to pitch the ball, the more I can move before the ball moves, the more snap I'm going to have. Batting would be the same thing. You could apply it to tennis. If I move everything together, not too much energy, bat stays there. That little bit of separation allows me a lot more pop and power. Now, frequently, it's more of a neurological thing. People haven't played enough of these types of sports or haven't for many years. So it's not that they're incapable of doing it, it's just their mind hasn't trained them. So I would recommend, put a club there, practice twisting your hips, keeping your shoulders still. Ultimately, you should be able to keep these still and twist your hips easily and freely and separate those two, hands in a door frame, etc. is something you can practice at home to develop the coordination if that's difficult for you. But having said that, let's have a look at our drill from here. If you like these videos, I hope you'll consider subscribing or give a like or whatever it is that people do on these videos. ScratchGolfAcademy.com, by the way, is where all the video courses are held. There's all sorts of stuff there, courses on everything for you. I'd hope you'd check that out. And AdamBGolf.com, ADAMBGolf.com is my teaching website. Let's get into the drill here, the must hip rotation drill to get you a better golfer. Here's what we're going to do. I learned this from a guy called Mike Hebron. You probably haven't heard of him, but he's a big cheese in the world of golf, and he's been very helpful to me. So here's the drill. Teeing the ball up to make it a bit easier. I still don't care about contact. Maybe 2/3 of a backswing. I'm pivoted enough. My hands are in a pretty good slot. And I'm going to let my arms literally fall under gravity. And they should hit the ground to the side of my trail foot there. They shouldn't be going this way at all. So just fall. There's no body motion in that at all. Here's how I'm going to do the drill. Once I've gotten that feeling, and I'm literally no energy in my arms, I'm going to use my hips to try to get the golf club to the ball, both rotating and sliding. And you must, this is what you got to work at it, but you must maintain this feeling that your arms are doing nothing, just gravitationally falling. So we'll get here, gravity. My arms would be a little bit firmer and everything in a real swing. Gravity, and I'm training myself to know that club's going to hit the ground there unless I get engaged. I'm not helping myself out with arm swing. Here we go. That's the feeling. I felt felt better than the first one. A great drill for you to do. Again, I recommend you do it off the tee, and you're going to find something if you get good at this drill. That is to say, if you truly don't let your arms do anything other than what's created from here, you are going to feel it is so much easier to shift weight and move dynamically when you don't have all this thrust that most people experience when they hit a golf ball. How much slide would be right for you? Well, ultimately, here's how you have to relate it. You're trying to deliver the club a powerful blow, ball before turf, but you're trying to deliver it in this critical moment up the target line. As I said at the very beginning of the video, if I had my hips as open as Fred Couples, I don't think I could do that. So you need to always relate what you're doing with your hips to, is this helping me get that club on the target line? Generally speaking, though, most golfers swing too much across the line. Generally, they could use more hip slide. If the head's still and the hip slides, it shallows the downswing and sends it a little bit more up the target line. Conversely, in the less likely scenario, you drop kick a lot, push balls out to the right, maybe hit some hooks, you probably need a little bit less hip slide. I'll show you me doing a couple of swings in slow motion very briefly. At least you can see how I'm trying to do it. Then we'll get a little bit more information from here and see if we can close out with a sense of the proper hip rotation for you. So here's me hitting a little 3/4 8-iron, and we can see, even though there isn't tons of hip movement, it's the timing of it that counts, and you can see that weight transfer before the arms have done anything. And that really stores the lag. And even though the hips do stabilize a little bit down around impact, they're supposed to do that, it's allowing me to get my hands beyond the golf ball so I get a good ball first strike and freely move into the finish. Down the line view gives us a bit more of an opportunity to see the amount of hip rotation. There you see the leading of the hips though. And the club gets in a decent slot, and that's probably the point in the swing when my hips are facing the golf ball again, and by the time I hit it, they're certainly turned open, maybe about like Watson's, minus the 8 majors, but nonetheless, that's a reasonable look. So as we've talked, there's not only some slide or some shift towards the target, but there's hip rotation. You saw plenty of that with the pros. That's helping you apply pressure. When your body is a little more rotated here, picture baseball, you can apply pressure better generally than when your body's facing the golf ball. Again, you have to flesh this out for yourself. Depends on your ability to separate hips from your upper body and arms, but also your innate flexibility. As I say, if you're not really flexible like Fred, you get your hips that open, you are probably swinging to the left. So relate it to what the job at hand is. The job at hand is to compress the ball and drive the club onto the target line through there. So play around with it on a scale. Takes a little work to do these things. Get in front of a mirror, do some small pitch type shots. You can figure it out. It will be worth your effort if you put some time and engage your brain in this thing. You can do it.